Hey, before we get started here, I just want to do a big shout out to Jerica Laramie, who just won herself the Muskoka Brewery prize bag.
Oh, what? Yeah.
That's amazing. And by the way, these double tall cans are crazy.
They're massive.
A couple of beers. You want to get a couple of beers?
Is this the specific, like we're giving her these things?
Well, no, we're not giving no.
I want these.
No, we're not.
We're not giving her these.
By the way, I just want to say, tread lightly, made here in Canada.
Nice.
In Muskoka.
Nice.
Natural
The prize
ingredients.
pack's better than the 6 beers in front of you.
Yeah, and it includes includes a $100 gift card to the STPN store. Excuse me.
Nice.
Into the what?
The STPN store.
There you go.
Where you
Wow.
can get merch like what Steve's wearing right now.
Yeah.
All far. You know? Anyway, congratulations, Jerica, and thank you, Muskoka Brewery. Let's kick off the show.
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
You know, try to tell Jesse about the big breaking news. Day.
Is it Capit-ale?
No, it's not Capit-ale.
We're just raging in the studio right now.
Capit-ale. We'll talk about that.
30
later.
seconds ago, Jesse told me about Capit-ale. And I'm like, how didn't you save that? How
I'm
didn't
sorry.
you save that?
I didn't know it'd be such a hit.
Listen, I just thought you should know that Nick Robertson is a Blue Jay.
Yeah!
That's the big news today.
What?
The Blue Jays yesterday claimed Nick Robertson on waivers from the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals. He's a middle relief pitcher in the MLB, and I just thought you should know that.
You wanted to start with that over Capit-ale.
Capit-ale and the Bell and Rogers and Treliving and Shanny and Berube and Marner and Matthews and Morgan Riley and John Tavares.
And what else?
Nick Robertson's a Blue Jay. He's from the Angels. I said the Cardinals. They're basically the same jersey.
No, he is the Cardinals.
Oh, okay. Well, for whatever reason, he was. So
Yeah,
that's a Cardinals
no.
picture,
That's
but he was
bad.
claimed off the Angels.
Oh, well, why did they use that picture, stupid?
Yeah, Robertson.
That's annoying.
26, noted CHL defenseman. I'm kidding. He has pitched for the Dodgers, Red Sox, Cards, 5.45 earned run average. Jesse, I have a question about baseball.
You better not ask me about Nick Robertson.
No, I'm not going to ask you about Nick
Relief
Robertson.
pitcher.
Whenever I see like, oh, the Jays signed this great reliever and his ERA is like 7. Why is that?
Because earned run average is based off of a 9 inning. It's your earned run average over the course of 9 innings. So if you allow like a couple runs once as a relief pitcher, you don't accumulate enough innings to bring that down.
To bring it down.
Yeah.
So you with relievers, you'd have to pay attention more to like what they're good at.
Yeah,
Like their pitches
like
and
their
their-
stuff, and like their whip would probably be a good thing. You know, their walk
Did you
for 9.
pitch when you played baseball?
Yeah.
What kinds of pitches could you throw?
I had a good knuckle curve.
No, you could throw. Well, your hands
was-
being as big as they are, I can see how you could do that.
Yeah, and like baseball, it's all relative. You know, it's like when you're young, the baseballs aren't.
had a knuckle
big,
curve.
but, yeah, you throw it like this.
Jesse's lying.
Like that.
No changeup, no curveball, nothing but fucking
Yeah.
gas.
My four seamer is straight, but my two seamer moved a little, which was nice. And then I only had 4 pitches. It was
Only had 4?
four seamer circle change. I'd throw like this. If you're playing, do you remember the game? Where
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
You just go punch the
And then
batter.
I put it on the C on the fucking what's the word I'm looking for on the baseball.
Seam?
The seams. The word escaped me. The seams. I put it on the circle on there, and that beat the circle change. And then the knuckle was like with 3 fingers like that. The knuckle.
Were you a starter or were you a reliever or were you a closer?
Mainly starter, but it was like travel baseball as a kid. You know,
Yeah.
Everybody comes in whenever.
Damn.
So 9 innings.
No.
You ever
100
pitch a
pitches.
complete
No.
shutout?
Well, I don't even think we did. Like I think the last couple years we probably played 9 inning games, but like you play 7 innings mainly.
Okay.
As a kid, yeah.
I just want to say that this has been a beautiful, beautiful day already because Jesse talked about himself. And
Right?
that never happens. I just want to say that. It never happens.
I don't know how this is more interesting than Capit-ale.
It's not Capit-ale. Nothing will be more interesting, which is why we're making you wait for Capit-ale. All right?
No, there's no S.
We're making you
Capit-ale.
Capit-ale.
Yeah, that's it's even better.
Capit-ale.
Welcome to the planet there.
Capit-ale.
And what's the owner's name again? Ted Leon.
Deadly owns it.
Yeah. So
Deadly owns it.
can you imagine
Capit-ale.
what fucking
Adam's losing it.
This is a great show.
Adam
everyone.
lost it.
Hey, be sure to click like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. This is your first show. I
Can you just imagine?
really hope you like it.
The Washington Capitals like opening thing on the ice, and it's just like the planetarium episode of South Park, and it's Ted Leonsis.
You love the Capitals. You will buy season tickets to the Capitals.
It's a golden IPA?
Jesse, stop! We have to give people a reason to stick around for the whole
It's
show.
around 6%.
Jesse, you can't be dropping bombs like that. Come on now.
Guys.
Man, we got a show to do. We got
Capit-ale should have led the show.
Okay, no, actually, we got our first look at the Leafs training camp roster, and obviously, like as I mentioned earlier, we talk about we're gonna get into some of the quotes that came out today. I want to put you guys to the test with the Leafs training camp roster.
Ooh, there.
I'm gonna give you a last name.
Okay.
Jesse and Steve, you work together on this. You have to tell me the player's first name.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
So these are players within the Leaf system or on PTOs. And you and excuse the pronunciation because I certainly have not heard of some of these people. But together, we need you to name all these Leafs players, and we'll move through it quickly based on their last name only. Give me their first. Abruzzese.
Nick.
Barbolini.
Oh.
Barbolini.
Massimo.
Close. Matthew.
Damn. That's not close at all.
Blandisi. This one should be easy.
Joseph.
Yeah. Clifford.
Kyle.
Cowan.
Easton.
Dewar.
Connor.
Domi.
Max.
Finney, who was a big factor in the rookie camp game.
Finney's the one who hit Lane Hudson.
Yeah.
And then Hudson ended up hitting Cowan. Or Minton, sorry.
I can't believe Lane Hudson got hit by anybody.
Yeah.
Must mean he's slow. McCool.
No, his name is not McCool.
Vinny
That'd
McCool.
be good.
Finney's the last name.
Finney
I don't know.
Jesse, any guess?
Jamarcus.
No, Marshall Finney.
Marshall Finney.
Okay, Raska.
Raddick.
No, that's good. No, but close.
I don't know.
No, not even close. No.
Raddick's my
Okay,
guess.
Jacob. Goslin.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Kate Goslin. Matthew Goslin. No, Kate Goslin, the 80 million kid.
I think Ryan Gosling would have made a lot more sense.
Rebenkin.
Nikita.
Hirvonen.
Roni.
Halinka.
Cup.
Miroslav.
Noted Alan Walsh client. That's good, Halinka. That's good, Jesse. That was good.
Word association.
Holmberg.
Pontus.
Yarncroc.
Kali.
Kampf.
David.
Nyes.
Matthew.
Kressler.
Braden.
Yes. Lowowski.
Big.
Brandon.
And it is
Big. Lisowski, you mean?
Lisowski, sorry. Lawrence.
Steven.
Marner.
Mitch.
Mastriome.
Oh, man. The Marlies have low-key, like, the craziest
Italian
names in the league.
Julius.
Julius.
Fred.
Robert. Roberto.
Oh,
It's probably Roberto.
It probably
let's be
is.
honest.
Yeah. He's from, you'll be shocked, Bayshore, New York.
Oh.
No Italians there. Matthews.
Austin.
McHugh.
Oh, he got into a fight. Braden.
Nope. Sam.
Damn.
McMahon.
Bobby.
Minton.
Fraser.
Murinov.
Mirmanoff.
Murinov.
Oh.
Sergey.
Maxim.
Maxim.
Yeah.
Got it.
Nylander, but the higher one up in the alphabet.
Alex.
Okay.
Did you see
Nylander, but the lower one.
Did you see in Vancouver they put an E next to Pettersson's name?
Yeah, what the fuck?
They're both E. Pettersson.
Yeah.
No, so I think the new one is E. Pedersen.
And what's the other one?
Pedersen.
That's stupid.
Just have different numbers, for God's sakes.
So stupid.
By making him wear E. Pedersen, like, they should literally just call him Other. Like,
right.
it should be Other 24.
Yeah. Or just put lesser Pedersen.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
We're not as impressive.
Paray.
Oh, Cedric.
Yeah. Pacioretty.
Max.
Okay, we're gonna move to. Oh no, this is Quinlan.
Joel.
Close.
Colton.
Jacob. Sorry, it's
Close.
Yeah, he said.
I said Joel.
Cole.
What?
What? Wait, what did you say?
Joel.
Joel.
Because Quinn.
Yeah,
I thought you said Cole.
as in. Oh, stop, Jesse.
Sorry.
Yes, he's just fucking around.
I'm playing word associate.
Reeves.
Ryan.
Okay, Robertson.
Nicholas.
Shaw.
Rogers.
Bell.
No, Logan.
Oh, Logan Shutt. He's
Yeah.
the captain. Whoops.
Sikic or Sikic.
I don't know.
Marco.
Marco.
Oh.
Got it.
Solo.
Cup.
Han.
No, come on.
Han,
your real name.
Han Solo is much
okay.
better.
All right.
Hold on.
S-O-L, or sorry, S-O-L-O-W.
Adam Driver.
Brad.
Zach.
Zach.
Steves.
Alex.
Stevens.
Stevens.
Michael.
There's a Stevens? Mm-hmm. Spelled how?
Stevens.
Shut up.
With a V.
With a V or a PH?
Yeah.
PH, it's Michael.
Yeah, not Mike Stevens. No, other Stevens. Not friend of the show, Mike Stevens.
Steve.
Mike.
No, Mike.
Steve Stevens, guitarist for Billy Idol. Steve, it's Sam Stevens.
Sam Stevens.
So you guys are actually really
Got
close. Tavares.
John.
Tvergberg.
Ryan.
I like
Yeah.
Steve Stevens.
Ty.
Ty Voigt. Okay. Defenseman now. Anderson.
Frederick.
No.
Anderson. Joey.
Matt.
Matt Anderson. I bet he's going to make the team.
Bengtson.
Bengston? You're not saying that right.
Bengtson.
There's no way you're saying that.
Bengtsson.
Clap Bengston.
No. Jacob.
That's a good one.
Benoit.
Oh, Simon, you dick.
Benoit.
Yeah.
Chadwick.
Noah.
Danford.
Ben.
Ekman Larson.
Oliver.
Hakanpää.
Yanni.
Kokinen.
Mikko.
Liljegren.
Tim.
Mantonen.
Matanen.
Matanen.
Nicholas. How dare you?
Mays.
Billy.
No, Nathan. McCabe. Billy Mays.
With another fantastic product.
What is this game?
Jake.
McCleary.
Dan.
Nope.
Leo.
Ryan McCleary. Murmis.
Oh, Dakota.
Miller.
JT.
JT. No, Joe.
Ryan.
Tommy.
Myers. Tyler.
Philippe.
Philippe.
Oh, Philippe.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
You should know that.
No, I should. I was just fucking around.
Niemela.
Toby.
Parsons.
Toppy.
Brad.
Rhett.
I'm gonna. We talked about him last show. Fuck.
Michael Parsons.
This one's going to be an Italian tough one. Pietro Reno.
Petronero.
Tony.
Bibbidi.
It's Matteo. It's almost
Matteo.
Riley.
That's the most Italian name in hockey. Morgan.
Rafai.
Marshall.
Sharp.
Patrick.
No.
Prick.
No. Chas. Chas. C-H-A-S. Chas. Tanev.
Chris.
Brandon.
Timmins.
Ontario. Connor.
Villeneuve.
Jacques.
William.
Weber.
Cade.
Okay.
Shay. Well, I don't know.
Aktimov.
Artur.
Gillies.
John.
Hildeby.
Dennis.
Murray.
Matt.
Pesca.
Vyacheslav.
Stallers.
Anthony.
Wool.
Brick. Joseph.
There we go. You got the goalies. That's good. Now, obviously, everybody spoke to the media today, and we'll start with John Tavares, who came out first and said he wants to stay here. This is really like I'm looking at, obviously, the quotes that are making their way around online. I'm looking at, reporter Chris and David Alter and Mark Masters and Terry Koshan and all these guys. We couldn't find the live stream of this. I wondered if it was just scrummed. But Tavares says, yeah, he wants to stick around beyond this year. He's from Toronto. Mitch Marner sat down and said, guys, not talking contract today. And I can't really blame him for that. What he could have done is sat down. If you'll remember, Steven Stamkos came to camp last year and said, I'm really pissed. Mm-hmm. Marner didn't do that. He just said, I'm not here to talk about contract. I'm here to talk about the season. He said, what CJ says is Mitch Marner did end up giving a pretty impassioned answer about how much it means to him playing for his boyhood team. He said, it's my home. This is where I grew up. Wants to be here.
Great.
So there's that. Brad Treliving on injuries.
Okay.
I always love this. Connor Dewar, shoulder surgery, won't participate in camp to start.
Oh,
So that's probably why. Remember we were talking about like where does he fit in? Probably doesn't for the first little bit if he's coming off a shoulder surgery.
it's on IR.
Yeah, he may just be. That might
With
alleviate the logjam a little bit.
Yeah, IR with the option to LTIR.
Fraser Minton injured in the rookie game, the second rookie game against the Habs prospect. He has this sucks, high ankle sprain.
Oh no!
Unknown timeline.
That's awful.
That sucks. That
Yeah.
could be 4 months.
High ankle sprains are tough because you never know. You never know if it's going to be a months-long thing or a weeks-long thing, and they're just tricky.
That could. I mean, that probably jeopardizes like World Juniors even.
Hopefully not.
Dude. Oh,
And-
that.
Yeah, I don't think Minton's making the team. End of story right now.
Yep.
Like, he's not making the
Yeah.
team.
There's just not enough time to recover.
Yeah.
So brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Ben Danford did suffer a concussion
Yeah.
in that first practice, but he is progressing. And Ryan Terberg, shoulder surgery could come back soon.
Okay.
So those are where we're at now. Brad Treliving was asked. This is I like Brad because he is at least have a sense of humor about things.
He excels in front of a mic.
Somebody asked him like, "What gives you hope for this season?" He's like, "Well, I hope we made the roster better." He's like, he said, I think we did. And then to add to that, reporter Chris, I don't know if you've heard of him. He said, Brad said, we will make room for young players if young players can help us win, which makes the Easton Cowan, Nick Robertson, who else is up for
Minton
grabs?
no longer.
Minton no longer, but I would look at Cade Weber on the back end, might have an outside shot.
Keefe really seemed to like Kokkonen a lot
Yeah, he did.
last year. Yeah.
Saily, S-A-I-L-Y. If you've ever been lost abroad or badly needed an internet connection with no Wi-Fi hotspot in sight, you'll understand the difference a local SIM card can make. And the problem is sometimes you step off the plane and there's those weird kiosks and you're like, are you selling me something that's going to hack my phone? You don't have to worry about that with NordVPN's Saily.
Do I need a phone case that's going to steal my SIN number?
That's right. That's right.
You know, they have those chargers now. Have you ever seen them?
Oh, yeah.
They have chargers where you plug in your charger, but it's actually like a device that somebody remotely can steal your information.
What?
Yeah, yeah. There's some crazy spy stuff going
The
on.
thing with an eSIM is it provides an internet connection wherever you are, when you travel. It saves you money on roaming fees, which can be ridiculous, especially for Canadians. So all you have to do is download it once, and basically when you move to a different country, because obviously, like if you're like Maddie, and you're on like a 7-week excursion, traveling around Europe, it installs a new eSIM in each country for you. So you don't have to worry about it. What? And it also helps you avoid scams.
Now explain how that works
I cannot.
and code one yourself.
All I can do is tell you that NordVPN, their whole thing, like Tim Haraney uses NordVPN when he's in different countries because he doesn't want to have, like if he's using Wi-Fi at a local restaurant, he doesn't want to have them hack into his stuff, so he uses Nord.
What is Tim Haraney from?
That's Nailing the Apex.
Yeah!
That's right. A Formula One show on this here network. 24/7 support, so you can chat with anybody at any time. They're compatible with all iOS and Android devices, and you can get it right now. Go to Saily, SAILY.com/dangle and use the promo code DANGLE, spelled how?
DANGLE. Next.
To get an exclusive 15% off your first purchase. That again is Saily.com/dangle, promo code DANGLE. Good luck and enjoy. So this is it's all very, very interesting. A Berube made the most interesting, and this is where we stop and we talk. The quote is, William Nylander will start camp at center
Got it.
with Max on his wing.
Got it.
But everybody's assuming that's Max Domi. Nobody's for sure if it'll be Pacioretty. And I'm
That's
serious.
hilarious.
The quote is quite literally, Max will be on his wing.
That's really funny. Oh, the contract with Pacioretty already worth. That's awesome.
We cornered the market on Max's.
That's really, really, really funny. Good on Craig.
Here's my question
That's
to
on
the two
purpose.
of you.
He did that on purpose.
I love the man. I love the man already. Here's my question to the two of you. Who do you think he actually means? Because we know that Domi and you could see a line with Domi, Matthews, Marner. Why not? So
Domi, Matthews, Marner. Oh yeah.
And
well,
Patrick,
I wouldn't do it, but yeah,
you could see it though.
you could.
I'm assuming, guys, that Domi is the more likely candidate here.
We don't have to play the guessing game. He was talking about Max Domi.
He was talking about Max Domi because the quote was Max.
Yeah, but everybody else had the full quote.
Ah, that's so shit.
Yeah.
No, that would have been funny.
It's Max Domi.
Damn.
Okay. Now,
Damn.
how do we feel about, and this is last year, they've said, yesterday they reported that this will not be a half-hearted attempt to have William Nylander at center. And what's interesting about it is when the extension was signed, it became clear to everybody, hey, you can't have that many wingers making that much money, meaning two wingers making as much as they're making. If you have one winger making that and two centers, it might make a lot more sense.
Yeah, Nylander and Austin as like a 1-2 up the middle. Tavares ideally re-signing for a lot less. And I don't know, we'll see what happens with Marner. Let's say he signs for a similar number. Pause for laughter. That's more palatable than having two guys on the right wing.
Right.
I mean, it's harder to drive the bus from the wing. And Nylander's already a pseudo center anyway.
Well, yeah, he does take face-offs, and he
sneakily plays
and you sometimes saw if he was with Tavares that he would, when he was engaged defensively, and that is a part of Willie's game. Is sometimes he's not. But it's a lot less.
Not great in his own end, but he plays incredible neutral zone defense. I think
you could see him sometimes swoop in for where Tavares is thing. Now, what's interesting about this, guys, and Jesse, because you're the biggest William Nylander fan on the planet. Do you believe, because apparently Sheldon Keefe they asked him to try it. He wasn't committed. He tried it for like 2 games in the preseason and said, fuck this.
So frustrating.
So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this one as a stand?
Yeah, this is the sticking point with this whole discussion is like, okay, one, are they going to try it wholeheartedly? Like, is this a real test for Willie at center? Because I was very adamant against it because they've tried it so many times.
They have to.
And it's never worked because they never stick to it. So is this finally, again, it's Groundhog Day, Willie at center. And then is William Nylander going to commit to the things that a centerman has to do? Is he going to play the other side of the ice, then cover all the areas that a center has to do? And is that going to be good enough? Are we going to see him do it? And then we're going to say, yeah, that works.
His takeaways are great.
Sure. Yeah. But he's doing that from the spot of a winger.
Yeah.
So it's a different game playing the center role. So we have to see it in action, then does it work? And it's just we've tried it before. So you gotta show me that it works this time. There's gotta be some convincing here, because if you tell me, hey, we're gonna do this thing, I was like, yeah, we did that and it failed. And you're like, but this time, I'm like, okay, so what's different? Show me what's different. Show me that it actually works. And that's I'm just in a wait and see mode with that.
With the takeaways in Willie, you can list any skill and he'll be elite.
Yeah.
I think with center, it's a lot more about discipline, right? Which he lacks.
Commitment.
He often lacks.
But I saw more of it last year than we've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his best season of his career last year.
And
for
he would still, every now and then, just have this brutal shift, and Keefe benches him, and you're like, damn, that's like our probably second best player last year. And he's on the bench right now, and he kind of deserves to be. It wasn't a great position to be in.
Do you guys have an answer on like what's different this time? Because they tried it in elimination game of a playoff.
Well, that's the fucking wrong time.
That was
to try
so
it.
stupid.
They tried it. They try it then, and then they try it the right time. They say preseason,
For 5 seconds.
training camp, Williams center. Let's do it. It fails. So they've tried it in both instances where there's so much pressure and there's runway in the other one. So what's different this time?
So what needs to be different is you have a conversation about. A lot of coaches get into the trap of winning tonight's game every night. And I mean, you should try to win every game. It should be everyone's goal to go 82-0, but it's not always going to work that way. The long-term success of the Leafs needs to be in their plans. And I think for Sheldon Keefe, he's like, well, we're down by 1 or it's a tie game, it's tight, I'm throwing Willie on the wing. Like, he would always go back to his comfort food. Like, even when he got the blender out, like, all right, this guy's going up there, and this guy, I'm taking this guy off the wing, and all this stuff. Winning tonight's game in October of last year, he's like, I'm taking Willie off of center. They got to be willing to go through some pain here.
Well, I think, though, that this coach would have the leash to do it. And this is where...
Hey, I just got here!
I just got here. And But also, like, hey, Treliving, Shanahan, hired Berube. So Berube's got a few years to figure this out. And I think when you look at the salary cap situation, one of the major issues, and I think that a lot of people are like, this is why this can't work, is a center and two wingers at that price point is extremely painful to you just can't do it, right? Because I kept saying coming into camp, or I've said it since we started back up in September here, they're missing a center, they're missing a center. Is it Min? Is it this? Is it Holmberg? Is it whatever?
They still might be.
Well, they still might be, but and people, slotting in Max Domi at center. No, I don't think he's going to do that. I think they need him up, making plays with the best players on this team, not trying to drive a line between two guys who may or may not, be defensive strong. And like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not Max's job. Especially with the rate he's paid at, like, I think Max does best when he's with the best.
He showed he could be a top 6 player.
100%. Yeah. So William Nylander shifting into center and them giving, here's the thing about learning is you can learn, but you need to be given time. And I think
did they say which wing?
They didn't say which wing.
He played mostly right with the Leafs.
So I look at Nylander at center and I think this solves a lot of the puzzle that we can't seem to figure out, which is how they're going to keep this group together because they seem committed to doing that. If you have two centers that are that good, you've got a 60 goal scoring top line center, and you got a second line center who's capable of 95 to 100 points in a year at his best, going into their prime, and then you've got a winger who's also one of the top, according to NHL.com, top 10 wingers in the league. I would put Marner up there a little bit further. Then that salary seems to make a lot more sense, especially with Tavares' salary decreasing or disappearing next year. And I look at Keefe, I think when you've been with a team for as long as he had, through the years that you have to remember what Keefe walked into. He walked into a defeated dressing room.
Yeah, it was brutal. That
he had to like pump full of helium to make him laugh again, right? And then he got training camp and then COVID. Like, what a shit end of the stick. And then he
was like 2-3 years in. He's like, I just got here.
Yeah, well, he developed, as we all do, preconceived notions about what a player's capabilities are. And sometimes it takes a new set of eyes and a new voice to go, hey, and I would imagine that Toronto management spoke to Nylander and spoke to his agent and said, if you want this term, we're signing you at the top of your value. If this is what you want, you will be playing center. Well, because we cannot justify this otherwise.
Look at it this way. Do the Leafs have someone who could replace John Tavares as the second line center in their system right now? No. Who's trading their second line center right now?
Nobody.
Well,
look at what Seattle just paid for Chandler Stevenson.
Right. Speaking of that, if you're gonna go out and get your second line center, you're going to be spending at least $8 million in free agency, and you're probably going to overpay. And they got to agree to go to your city. Or you take one of the most skilled players in hockey and you go, hey, what if you just and you shift them over?
Like, is
to the position you drafted him at.
You know, I don't want to do the Moneyball thing, a movie you can reference. It's like playing first base isn't that hard. It's extremely hard.
It's incredibly hard.
Right? There's that Scott Hatteberg scene. With Nylander, I don't see a player like him, and I say this for most of the top players in the game. I don't see a player like him being unable to do something like this. It's a question of commitment. Mm-hmm. And I think he made his commitment when he said, I want to stay in Toronto. I want to do an 8-year deal. I want to do it at this term. And so I think You probably have William Nylander on side with this. You probably have Craig Berube on side going, we have to make this work, so we will.
Yeah. Hey, Max,
Nylander
can you make
skill.
Willie work? Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
I think that Craig Berube's faced bigger challenges than trying to get an extremely skilled player to play center properly.
Yep.
And it's going to take time and there'll be warts, but if they commit to this, I love this. I love this.
I feel like I'm the only person who remembers that we did this last year. Like
I know, but it was a different guy, right?
They have to stick.
I need to see it that they stick to it because it was September 20th last year, the day before training camp opens. We got all the headlines. William Nylander at center is an experiment worth making for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leaf training camp takeaways: Nylander at center. Maple Leafs have discussed playing William Nylander at center. William Nylander is moving to center. What can it mean for the Leafs? Those are the headlines from September 20th, 2023.
And what happens then if we start the season and they're like, you know what? We're not going to play Willie at center.
That's what happened last year.
There's no justification for like a bunch of people in this organization having jobs.
Well, they're going to have jobs. Like
No, I know, but like, okay, so you're trying the same shit. Okay, we're going to have the same roster. We're also trying the same ideas, wacky ideas, and then we're also bailing on them early again. Like, and they can try this again. I actually, the position the team is in, I don't have a problem with it. No. Last year I was talking about it like, no, it's got to be dead and buried. But last year Willie showed a gear I did not know he had. Like, he's crazy good.
From the wing. But
yes.
The quotes from all the articles on September 20th, 2023 were that this was a long-term goal. I will quote Sheldon Keefe directly. He said, it's not going to be a one-off or a one-day thing or one preseason game, the Leafs bench boss said.
Well, he should have been fired earlier.
We want to give it some time.
No, you didn't.
So I just want us all to be cautioned that we're being fed the exact same narrative that we were last season, just by a different person. And by October 4th, when they went to their preseason game in Detroit and they tried some new bodies at center, they abandoned the Nylander experiment.
I think that has something to do with the fact of how Sheldon Keefe perceives Nylander. Now, Berube may come to the same conclusion. I completely grant you that. But sometimes, you know when you're growing up and your parents tell you something, hey, that's bad. And you're like, I'm not going to listen to you. You're my stupid parents. But then you got a cool uncle. You got a cool uncle or a cool aunt who's like, and they say it to you completely separately. Hey, like it's like my daughter with my aunt, my sister-in-law, Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren can get Everly to eat anything. I don't even try to. I go, Lauren, can you tell Everly to eat this? And she'll eat it.
You've told us, yeah.
I think that could be here. And I totally, Jesse, you nailed it. Absolutely, you're right. We have been fed this. But I can't see how the Toronto Maple Leafs can continue to expect to be successful if everything is not on the table. And so if player movement is not on the table, then player movement on the ice must be.
Those are dangerous words.
Is that fair? Is that a fair point?
Like,
if William Nylander to center is an everything's on the table situation.
Okay. If he starts preseason at center, and he's not still playing center by Halloween, I'm turning furniture over.
Fair enough. And that's fair.
No, you need to... What the fuck, guys?
No, you're committing to
a
this.
thing.
You have to commit to this. And he has to be able to fuck up.
That's why I just want to see that.
Yes.
What you're asking for, I'm just saying, yes, okay, cool. Now deliver on your promise.
Even if it's not every
they're just
game.
Right now they're words that I've heard before.
Yeah.
Deliver on it, please.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking for.
The Leafs are just... listen, they have well earned the position they're in where nothing they say registers with anybody who's been paying any kind of attention.
I just got here.
Adam, I know you told me not to look at any of the quotes, so they would all be a surprise.
But you got one.
The one quote I saw, Brendan Shanahan, our goal is to win the Stanley Cup. Okay. Yeah, I know. I also profoundly don't think you're the guy for the job because that's all the evidence in front of me. Like, what the...
Now, if they go out and they win the cup, I think you'll be the happiest person going, I'm so glad I was wrong.
I'm so glad I was wrong. But right now, I'm standing in the middle of the desert waiting for an ice cream truck to show up. And I'm starting to think it's not coming.
You have to use the evidence in front of you to make assessments. You can't just blindly say, oh, yeah, you're going to deliver this based on the history of you not delivering.
I like him too. I like the team too, guys, and I'm cheering for him too, but use your head.
I just feel like
They
with a
keep
player
losing.
of William Nylander's talent, what do they always say? Offense is a gift, defense is determination. I think you can learn how to play a little defense. And what's interesting though is as soon as this was announced, I love this, and this is why I love fandom. That's why I'm so glad we're fans and that we get being fans, because what I love about fandom is like instantly people are like, oh, what are the lineups going to be?
Yeah.
And everybody has Tavares at 3C. And I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the case, guys. This might be the year that Tavares, they're going to try stuff, but this might be the year where he becomes wing and takes defensive zone centers, and that's
But
it.
with Max on Willie's wing, it sounds like they're going to have Tavares at center.
So this
Because
is
Max would have been the 3C, right?
This is what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be Nyes with Matthews and Marner. And I was like, oh, okay, Robertson, Willie Domi sounds fun. Because I was thinking about the
all the offensive zone faceoffs.
offensive zone. And then I was thinking about the defensive zone. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound fun at all. So
Tavares, Yarncroke,
you either...
Pacioretty?
See, that's fun.
Because Yarncroke and Tavares are great defense,
So...
right? But also very strong offensively. People are shitting on Yarncroke. Guys, he was injured. Didn't he have a high ankle sprain? I don't think you realize how good Yarncroke is.
He's a
I
good...
mean, Yarncroke
You're very
trooper.
hot and bothered by Young.
He's a good player.
Everybody's like, fire that guy into the sun. I'm like, guys, he's a very useful
He's a
player.
very useful player.
At $2 million. Come on.
Career playoff has been not great. But
That's fine.
But
Get in line.
yeah, exactly. He can get you 15-ish goals and play responsible defensively. Secondary,
And has
power
also
play
played in the
and
Stanley
penalty
Cup
kill.
final, which is better than most of these guys can say.
At his dollar amount, no, like he can stay. If they find a trade that makes sense, fine. But like I think you'll miss him more than you think. I think the winner chicken dinner here is Bobby McMahon.
Where do you have him?
Second line left wing with Willie and Domi.
That's a.
I think, do you not have to slot in Max Pacioretty in the top 6 based on the
I think they're going to
narrative
try that first.
I
I
feel
do
like
think
that's the first thing they go with.
I think if you put him with Tavares, you go, all right, Max. It's not technically the top 6, but like
yeah.
you're playing with John Tavares. Yes, it is.
So from what, and this does not come from Alan, full disclosure, but from what the Leafs told us,
What did
we've
Alan
said, and again, company line, so let's take this with a grain of salt.
Show me your phone.
And there are some people that have looked at Max. The speed thing was the thing that the Leafs were really curious about with Max Pacioretty. Berube said last week, we are going to play hard and we're going to play fast. And this is one of the issues that the Leafs, especially in the postseason, got exposed on. This fucking dipsy doodle through center ice. Don't worry. You go get set up and then we'll attack. That's off the table now. And so the reason a guy like
jump in,
JVR...
don't chase.
Well, the reason that a guy like JVR is not signed and Pacioretty is because clearly they needed a little bit more speed, especially up the wing. And what I wonder if, like a Tavares-Pacioretty pairing with a Yarncroke's a good skater. Tavares, that's always been the knock on Tavares. He's not very fast, but his edges and his ability to turn is good. He's always in position.
He's a strong skater, not a fast skater.
If you have a fast skater like Max Pacioretty paired with him,
Well, is he still fast?
well, that's going to be the question.
All right. Now I'm trying to figure out Robertson.
I would assume that the Leafs think he is if they're
Yeah.
bringing him and they're expecting him to make the team.
Oh, I'm so ready to live and die by every exhibition game.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Let's go.
It's gonna be great. I think to get warmed up because I'm doing Monday night streams this year. I'm gonna stream some Leafs exhibition games. Just get crazy.
Why not?
First one's on Sunday, right?
Saturday or Sunday?
I don't
Sunday.
even know.
Yeah, I
Sunday?
think they play Ottawa in Toronto on Sunday at 7.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Can I ask a quick aside based on this William Nylander center thing?
I love it. Let's go.
Why has Mitch Marner never been tried as a centerman?
I'd try
I
it.
think it's a size thing, but he's I
Gotta
think
be big.
he was center in junior, man. All the way up to the NHL, he was a center.
I mean, he's a smart player.
Oh yeah,
And
very.
like everything we rave about Mitch is like his skating and his defensive abilities, and he's the PK guy. You know, he's always doing that. Why has he never got a run at center?
It would force him to the middle.
Yeah, and he's an assist king. Like, I think it makes a lot of
Maddie's
sense.
laughing like it sounds like a chirp, but like I'm dead serious.
So he's not playing the outside.
Go watch
Yeah.
any playoff game. Ring
Yeah, yeah.
around the rosy. But I'm hating.
no, you're not.
No,
Stop.
what do you-
I'm
Steve,
so
no,
over.
we got it.
You
Don't
literally talked yourself into that. Nobody
Nobody put you there.
Yeah, but
The internet talked you there.
No, but you're literally having a conversation with yourself, or you talked yourself into some weird thing with Mitch.
Listen.
oh no, so no one's. This isn't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
What? I'm asking you about Mitch Marner at center.
All right. Anyway, I think he could be. I think he could be good.
He could be.
there. Jesse, it's a good question because
Thank you for answering it.
Willie, you're fucking welcome. Who's the better defensive player, Willie or Mitch?
Mitch.
Okay,
Interestingly, they're supposedly the same height too.
that's true. I told you I'll die on the hill that Mitch Marner is 6 feet tall.
He is.
Everyone thinks he's tiny. He's not. I look up at him.
So that is.
You were going through checkpoints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So Willie semi-regularly gets benched. Mitch is the stronger defensive player. Mitch is trusted on the penalty kill far more. Who's the better two-way player?
Mitch.
Mitch. Okay, who's the better goal scorer?
Willie.
Willie. So like Willie's got him killed there. Willie, I think, has underrated playmaking ability, but like it's Mitch.
Willie's got, I think, like over 50% in the face-off circle, which is good.
That is good.
Yeah, it's like slightly above 50, but it's right there.
I guess the difference is Willie, they tried playing pro at center several times, and like in the AHL, Mitch, they never even bothered.
Yeah, they never did.
Babcock never tried
It's
once.
never been an idea.
Like even when they didn't have a PK center for
They'd rather
like
Zach
2 or
Hyman
3
do it.
fucking years, they had Zach Hyman, and there's a guy who I'm pretty sure played some center in university, and they're like, well, he can do it. Bigger guy.
Yes.
Meat. He's big
Yeah.
up top. Not a lot of hockey players are big up top. He's big up top. With Marner, they never even tried it, and I think it could work. He's a bit small for a center.
But so is Willie then. Willie's the same height.
No,
In terms
Willie
of
is,
size.
You mean
they,
thickness.
they play completely different styles of hockey.
Willie's built like a fucking Viking.
Yeah. You're not pushing Willie over.
No, Mitch is like $1.75.
Right, okay.
It's different.
Okay, so that's the size. So let me ask you this.
If that's the only hiccup, I don't know why it's not worth a try.
Could you not even just
Hasn't even
try
been
it out
discussed.
shorthanded? Because the guy's going to play shorthanded, and with Dewar out, you got to think, okay, Kampf might take some center shot. Is Pontus Holmberg the undeniable center that you must get out there? Why not try Mitch at center on at least on the PK?
It's an interesting conversation. Until it's even whispered in the ethos or the whatever. I don't see any reason to talk about
Can we
it.
get like Mark Masters or CJ or somebody or David Alter in there to just ask Berube?
You know, we should get.
Hey, why
I'd be
haven't
like,
you even tried
Hey, why
this?
be like, what? I never thought about that. Can you imagine Berube being like, yeah, Matty.
Oh yeah.
Like McDavid's
That's a good question, CJ. I'm going to try that at practice tomorrow. I don't think any
wow.
coach has ever said that. but-
McDavid's not huge.
No, he's not, but he's McDavid.
I know.
Yeah, but nobody said the
but, like,
requirement to be a center is to be built like a brick shithouse. You know, you don't need to be thick as hell.
Like-
you can dipsy doodle your way to center.
Chandler Stevenson is shorter than both of them. I was so
Stop
used to him
getting
as an
caught up
Yeah,
on height.
It's not the height thing.
It's not height.
Is
it's
Chandler
the
Stevenson
thickness.
built like a brick shithouse? I don't know how much he weighs.
No, it's weight.
Okay,
Wait.
so hold on. Mitch Marner.
Also muscle mass.
Wait.
Let's get their BMI.
Mitch Marner, 82 kilograms, 180 pounds. Yeah. So Chandler Stevenson is 25 pounds heavier. And let's go William Nylander.
That's listed weight.
That's a
Nylander's
big difference.
Yeah, Nylander's also 20 pounds heavier than.
Yeah.
And when we say 20 pounds, we don't mean the 20 pounds that Steve and I have in excess.
Yeah.
We're talking about mostly muscle.
Yeah.
when we talk about the skilled Leafs who we wish would just fight once, for me the top of the list is Willie.
Really?
Yeah, well, Austin's huge and he's got those surgically reconstructed wrists. Willie, I think could, like, he's got to pick the right opponent, but I think he could grab a guy by the collar and the guy he wouldn't expect how fucking strong this guy is.
Yeah.
And I think he could pop him a couple times and just get a little bit of room. I don't care to see Mitch do that necessarily. It'd be great if he made himself a little bit more room, maybe turned into Captain Elbow like McDavid did a couple years ago.
Or back or slash the back of their
Oh my God, he was braining guys.
just slash guys in the back of the in the shin pads.
A little something.
Just be a little
Tavares
better.
with the head injury. I don't really want to see that. Willie had the migraines last year. No one should be fighting, boys and girls.
But it's hockey, so they are.
But I'm just saying in terms of guys who I think could probably throw a punch that would not.
Well, he is from Calgary, Alberta, that William Nylander.
He's
so,
Canadian farm boy strong.
that's
Willie
right.
Nylander.
That's right.
The greatest
Alberta
Calgarian
beef
Swede ever.
yeah.
Ever.
Is he is at the end of his career, is William Nylander the greatest Calgary-born player in the NHL? Name a better one. Name a better.
That's actually Jesse.
It's listen.
Lightning speed
he
over the
doesn't
Quan
like to
hockey.
say he likes to say stop.
You know what? Cale Makar's from Calgary.
Shit.
It's yeah.
For some reason,
No.
I always have Cale Makar in my head as American, and I know he's not, but I don't know why, and I don't know how to shake that. So is it?
Born
Is
in
it Adam
Calgary,
Fox?
Calgary,
Adam
Alberta,
Fox.
Canada. Yeah,
Weird.
October 30th, 1998. Taylor Hall, also from Calgary. Braden Point, also from Calgary.
What's he ever done?
And Gary Unger is the all-time leading point getter from Calgary.
How many?
804
Braden
points.
Point's one of the best centers in the league, and that guy's tiny. I don't know what his weight is.
Hold on, I'll find out.
I don't think Mitch Marner being thinner than Willie is a good excuse for never just like
Trying it.
not even trying.
Yeah.
Having the idea.
Yeah.
Like we're talking, they haven't even spoken this into the universe.
No, one day.
Braden Point weighs as much as Mitch Marner, 178 pounds.
There you go.
There you go. Like one day, I
also
think
shorter.
like Matthews and Marner and all of them are going to retire, and I think I'll be able to do like an insane. Maybe that's book number 3. And I'll have to wait that long. Just an insane retrospective on this entire Leafs era, because you come into the NHL with Babcock, who is this stubborn, pig-headed, egotistical hunk of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Keefe, the good cop, fun cop.
The Marlies guy.
Yeah, the grandparent who always has a Werther's original in his pocket for you. The Marlies guy. And the world stopped. 56 game season, and we're all trapped, and we are grumpy about it.
We won the
And,
division.
Willie has flirted with playing center long enough that I would still believe if they hooked up. Mitch has never even sent a text. I've never even seen them talk.
I don't even know if they're friends.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The time there was so much stuff early in those guys' career where the Leafs focused too much on winning every single game that they made some sacrifices.
Yeah, his name's Mike fucking Babcock.
Yeah, they made some sacrifices for long-term development.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't have... I don't think it would have worked long-term to have, Matthews, Marner, Willie. You might say that to yourself and go, oh, that's the best 1, 2, 3 in the league. Yeah, okay, we'll just have 3 centers making $11 million or whatever, or more than that.
Hey, it worked for the Penguins when they had Crosby, Malkin, Stahl.
Yeah, and then one of them's got to get out the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one of them wasn't making the big money.
We can and we will, and the Penguins never said that.
Or there's that. And also there's not enough puck to go around. At least one of them has to play wing. But to not over the long term develop one of Marner or Nylander, one of them hurt the organization long term.
You can't forget that the original idea of this team was Nazem Kadri as the third line center.
Yep.
They never needed Willie or Marner to play 3C because they had one.
Yeah.
And then he started killing people every spring.
Hey,
And then
he
let's
bought
be
his
honest,
own plane ticket.
He was unfairly suspended in that last series.
Yes. kind of.
in the Boston series. Now, when he went to Colorado and also got suspended for a series, that was reasonable.
Okay, but like it's like when the league started picking on Michael Bunting, and after a while, I'm like, okay, Mike, this is a little bit your fault.
So
Like, and then Naz went to Colorado, and what did he do?
He got suspended.
And so
He got suspended
and then won a
immediately and
cup.
fucked up Colorado's chance at a cup.
my point
did.
was the history of that isn't so point blank in that, hey, you probably should have developed Willie or Marner as a center, but there was a point when you should have started that process. When you had Nas, it didn't make sense. You have the 1, 2, 3, everything's
Of course.
cool. You move Nas, you get back Kerfoot. Kerfoot's supposed to be your solution there, right? That was the idea. That doesn't work out.
He wasn't even a full-time center.
Right.
With
But
the team.
that was the trade-off.
Sure.
You know, you bring back Kerfoot. If that's just their thinking.
That was what they were thinking.
Once that failed, then you should have started having the ideas of, let's take the guys who make all this money, make them centers, try something out, because then we can bring back the 1, 2, 3. And they went and they tried and solved it with Ryan O'Reilly and Callie Yarngrove at one point and David Comp and whoever else they want to bring as centers, and they never kind of tried that.
The issue with that was the Leafs viewed 19, 20, and 21 as their Stanley Cup window, and they didn't want to try things in that time. They got away from trying things, if you remember. And Jesse, I think you nail it with the Kadri thing. As soon as they realized that Kerfoot couldn't do it, unfortunately, they didn't realize that Kerfoot couldn't do much except for kill penalties. But they realized, oh well, he can't be the third line center. I guess we'll do nothing.
What about have zero trust for the process? We're going to get Nick Ritchie. He's going to be in the top 6 after like a month. Ugh. Like, okay, so either you're not committed to making that work or your pro scouting of that situation was terrible. You're like, this guy can play in the top 6, and then you discovered he couldn't play in your top 12. That's someone's fault. Jimmy Vesey, he's going to be in our top 6, and then you find out he can't even play in your top 12. That's someone's fault.
But then he goes somewhere else
And
on
he
a
does
very good
well.
team and does really well.
Yeah, it's very useful.
Maybe
Don't you find it-
maybe it was time for a coach change, Steve.
Don't you find it? Yes. Don't you find it amazing that every show you can literally go down a different rabbit hole?
Yeah, of course. Well, you can do this with any team, I think, if you're that hardcore.
See, I would love for you,
Not the winning ones.
Just an aside on a quick thing you mentioned, I would love for you, if you were tasked with the job of writing the Matthews era book, because there's been some recent books about, I forget, I want to shout out the author, but somebody wrote a great book on the Jays, on their recent little run there and like the bat flip era. And then there's a Raptors championship book that's out there that's fabulous stuff. And like, it's a thing that's been done. So if you wanted to be tasked with the Matthews era Leafs definitive collection,
I think I could do it.
I would read that in a heartbeat day one.
Here's how I think about the era, and here's why I think I'd be good at something like that when the time comes. That's like a solid more than a decade away. When you take an elective in school, it's supposed to be easy and fun. I took history of international relations between 1900 and 1945, which
I would have loved that course.
it was very interesting, but in retrospect, fucking stupid. Like, I was writing 3,000 word essays for my elective. I have a degree to get. I have to work a job.
Yeah.
What am I? And I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. And why did I take that class? But excellent professor. But the way he said things, and I thought it was unfair at the time. And the older I get, I'm like, okay, I understand why I hated it as a student, but he did have a point. If we had to write an answer about a historical event that was 10 points, point 1 and then point 2 and then point 3 and then point 4 and up to 10. He's like, if you get the first 4 right and you get number 5 wrong, and then number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right, that's 4 out of 10. Because you get, and then, or this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. But then you're missing why 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 happened, which means you're missing a significant part of the story. You're missing why that all happened, which could lead to, well, they did this for no reason, or they did this because of this, or because of that. No, you need this happened because this happened because this
It's like
happened.
building a building and the 5th floor sucks, but everything else is great.
Yeah, and I can do that with this team as well as anyone who doesn't work for the team does. Like, the one thing that is difficult to know unless you really work there is like they went away from this for a month because so-and-so had a banged up knee and he played through it and stuff like that.
And that never comes out.
But with the Leafs, like so many things happen and you go, how do we get here? And then you get me going, well, on, friggin' July 2015, they hired Mike Babcock, and you have to go back there.
I can see, though, how at 19 that teacher would come across as insufferable.
Oh, no, I wasn't happy about it.
I'd be so upset. I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, you're an elective.
Yeah.
Well,
not that deep.
One, and he was also like, and you're not allowed to record my classes. I was like, man, that's crazy. And
nice.
I would record it so I could listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
Which was probably the only reason I passed.
Kids these days got it so easy with like auto transcriptions. Just turn ChatGPT on just to listen to a class, and it's all just there. And then you type, hey, make notes on this. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jealous. Anyways.
Kids these days.
If you're a goalie in hockey and you're taking off your mask,
Oh, don't do that.
well, you have to be very confident that you're safe.
Yes.
Yeah, off the ice.
And that's the same as life and therapy. Sometimes you got to take off the mask, but you got to do it, be in a safe space to do it. You know what I'm saying?
The dressing room.
Maybe not the dressing room. Maybe not the dressing room. Not, or at least if you're a goalie, you're taking off the mask in the dressing room. But you're probably...
Why are you so...
You know, therapy's more of a one-on-one thing here,
That
Jesse.
started better than I thought it was gonna, and then it went down.
Well, that's because I got sidetracked. All right, I had an intro. I was ready to go. Anyway, long story short,
better one.
You feel probably safest at home, and that is where you can have your therapy with BetterHelp. And you can do it via text, you can do it via phone call, you can do it via FaceTime. It's that time of year. We call it the new year. September is the real new year.
It is.
So
January? No.
why don't you look after yourself a little bit and give BetterHelp a try? Visit BetterHelp.com/STP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/STP. Now, the $9.3 billion elephant in the room today is that Sportico announced that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment had a major shift in ownership. I say $9.3 billion because that is what Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment are valued at after Rogers paid Bell $4.7 billion for their share of the business. Now, if you don't know this already, Larry Tannenbaum had, I think it was 26%. Rogers and Bell each had 35.7 or 37.5. I don't know what the 100 is. It doesn't matter. Reality is it was split into unequal thirds. Bell and Rogers had two equal pieces. Larry Tannenbaum
37.5.
37.5.
Which added up to 75.
That's right. And Larry owned 25%, but he recently sold 5% to OMERS, which is a pension fund. And he has been talking about the fact that in 2026, he will sell the rest of it.
So he owns 20.
He owns
5.
20. OMERS owns 5.
Yeah, OMERS owns 5 now.
Well, he still owns 25 because he sold it through. I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So the reality is, Bell and Rogers, if you don't know, if you're not from Canada, Bell and Rogers are one of the 10 to 12 corporations that essentially run this entire country. And
We really are the Terrence and Phillip universe.
absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. And Bell and Rogers for, like, think about if Verizon Wireless and I don't know, what's another cell phone carrier in the States? AT&T owned the New York Yankees together. Or Vodafone in the UK and whoever else you guys use. I only know Vodafone because of Formula
Coke and Pepsi each own 37.5%.
And it's great because
of a team.
they're red and blue, too. That works well.
Hey, there you go.
And they are completely at loggerheads, or at least that's the thought. I have some insight on that today that will put that to rest.
Interesting.
But essentially what's happened in Canada is that Rogers was a league below Bell for time immemorial. Rogers recently, in the last couple of years, through an enormous family drama that played out in the British Columbia courts, and books have been written about this, Rogers was able to merge with another wireless and internet and media company named Shaw. What's happened since then, and there have been some ups and downs, is that Rogers has gained rapid market share on Bell. Bell was against this merger because Rogers would then actually be a competitor to Bell. Bell has, I'll just show you the BCE stock price over a 5-year aggregate has fallen 23.66%. And most of that fall has happened since 2022 when they hit their all-time stock high at 73.41. As of July 12th this year, it was $44. That's per share. It's now up to 49. But BCE has struggled enormously, and variety of reasons, but Rogers being a part of it. Now, Rogers got up at one point to $57 a share. They're now hovering in the $40 range, but they are still in the past 5 years down about 10%. They're rapidly climbing today. The reason why this all matters is that Rogers genuinely sees sports as its future. Now, I'm not talking about the national hockey rights, which I still believe are going to go to Amazon, but Rogers sees more value in owning the teams than owning the rights themselves. In today's agreement, you have a $4.7 billion payment to Bell, plus Bell secured rights to the Raptors and the lease for the next 20 years.
They maintain.
So
they split it 50-50 because they both own the team. They said, we'll split down the middle, the games, and they will maintain 50-50 control of the Raptors and Leafs games.
When you had the media rights, you have to then go out there and like sell it and do work.
Right.
You own a sports team and run it mediocre for 10 years. And you go to sell it in 10 years, it'll be worth what?
Even the Morellos made a profit.
Right.
In 5 years. And
well, what's it valued at right now?
The Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, $9.3 billion.
They bought it for 1.4. Like, we don't even need a hypothetical example. This literal example, that's $8 billion in profit.
Yeah. And Bell just
value,
walked away.
I should say.
Bell just walked away clean. So if the company, and I don't believe they do hold much debt, but if the company did hold debt, Bell is walking away from that clean, doesn't have to pay it, doesn't have to worry about it, almost $5 billion. Bell needed a stock win. What's happening at Bell right now is they are somehow transitioning themselves internally from a communications, internet, wireless company to what they call a tech company. I don't know how that works. I don't know, but I can tell you that when they laid off 5,000 people in the spring, it was not a good sign.
Right.
And that's not just for media. That's across all sectors, those 5,000. Because, by the way, 5,000 people don't work in media for Bell. It's just very tiny. So Rogers wins here because obviously they take a huge ownership share of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. From the people that I have talked to, and this has been over many months, and these are well-placed figures, Bell and Rogers got along actually quite well at the board level. The challenge is between two big personalities. And that is Ed Rogers and Larry Tannenbaum. And Larry had the ability, if Rogers wanted to do something, to block it through Bell. Right?
Right.
I think one of the things that he, gladly, we were all happy that he blocked was the Masai Ujiri being...
It was the first thing I thought
being
of.
fired.
Like one of the... Masai's gone.
Now that Rogers owns 75% and Larry owns 20 or 25%, depending upon the business situation, Larry's essentially a hostage. Larry can email Ed and go, hey, Ed, I'd like to do this. And Ed can email him back and go, that's nice. Anyway, this is what we're actually doing.
You can fax him a picture of his ass.
100%. He absolutely can. And from other people, from sources that I have, Ed Rogers, after this experience in the courts and taking over the family trust and all the other background stuff, Ed Rogers has gone from being a pretty mild-mannered guy to being extraordinarily outspoken at board meetings. He is not allowed to, as per the wishes of his father, directly run Rogers Communications.
Is that a good sign?
Well, I you know what? I think when you have father-son dynamics at that level, I don't know. I'm not here to speculate on that. What I will say is the speculation about Rogers Communications for a long time has been they will spin the Blue Jays and the media assets off into a company that Ed owns on his own. And with the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment news today, and knowing that Larry Tannenbaum will divest of his shares by at least 2026, but now probably earlier, my bet, and I'm just guessing here, is this gets done a lot sooner at market value currently. Is that I think what's happening here is Ed's positioning himself to be able to run his own company and also own Rogers Communications, which he controls via his CEO, Tony Staffieri. Tony, by the way, is a great story. Guy who grew up, family ran businesses. He'd been working in businesses, like his family run restaurants from when he was 12. That's a rags to riches story.
Sure.
He found a golden ticket one time.
Found a golden,
Like a chocolate factory.
crazy.
Yeah. And then he got a chocolate factory.
His lazy grandfather discovered he could get out of bed after 20 years.
So when people are tweeting like, this is horrible for the sports landscape in the country, actually what's happened is they've been able to finally break the deadlock, which is not Bell versus Rogers, it's Rogers versus Larry Tannenbaum. And they're going to be able, it took them 2.5 years to find a CEO. They had an interim CEO for 2 years after Michael Friesdale left. And so that's a huge problem. These guys could not agree that the sky was blue. And so that's how at loggerheads they are.
Roger.
I know. And Bell was a passive viewer. The other thing that's gone underreported that has been swimming around out there, and I've not been able to confirm this, but it seems logical, is that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, like many sports organizations, and Bill Maher, who owned the Mets, or part owner of the Mets, talked about this. All of these guys during COVID had to put money into the team. And a lot of passive owners, which I would consider Bell as one of them, were like, wait a second, I own this because it's a cash cow. I don't own this to put money into it. It generates money on its own, takes care of its own needs, and pays me a profit.
Right.
And so when these three players had to get together and put money into the business to sustain it, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were yawning.
No, I had to sneeze. Sorry.
The relationship.
Imagine, that'd be so rude.
And I know,
That'd be
I'm
so
sorry.
rude.
I know there's a lot here, but if you really want to understand it, this is what's going on.
I'm enthralled. I think
I'm
my nose
just here
couldn't
to
handle it.
chime in from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I don't have any information on that.
When you have a passive owner like that, it changes their relationship to the asset because they don't look at it as your favorite hockey team. They look at it as that's worth X percentage of my profit every year. And that goes towards our share price, which we pay out a dividend on, and my bonus structure is based on that. And so, long story short, Bell probably looked at this and went, we're trying to become something different. We got a lot of debt. We're trying to transition the entire company. Here's $4.7 billion.
Canadian.
And remember, the stock market's very short term. They don't care about 5 years from now. They care about now and tomorrow, and that's it. Wow, what a great win for shareholders. And this gives us the capital to manage our debt and transition to whatever the hell it is we want to be. And in the meantime, Ed gets his controlling share in Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. He already owns the Blue Jays. And there is some speculation this morning that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is going to change significantly. So under Bill Manning, the TFC had the highest payroll in the MLS and were one of the worst performing teams in MLS. Now, Bill was mostly well-liked, but there's a reason Tim Bezbachenko left, and he's the guy that built their 2018 championship team. Bill Manning is now no longer there. The team is hemorrhaging money. The Argos are hemorrhaging money. The Marlies have never made money. So you've got three assets there that are losing money. Kilmer Sports, who owns the WNBA tag, which is Larry's company.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is just Larry.
Yeah, just Larry.
Because Ed supposedly didn't want it.
Yeah, the Rogers didn't want to buy the WNBA.
Because they had just put money into Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment and said, wait a second, of our 5 assets, 3 are losing money. Why are we buying another asset that's going to lose money for a few years? And it will year over year. So long story short, I think what's going to happen here is you see Marlies, 905, Raptors, Leafs. That's Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Potentially TFC, but I don't think that a team like the Argos are long for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and I think they're probably going to Larry.
Why'd they even get him?
Well, that's a Larry Tannenbaum thing. I have no idea why they would have invested. They spent $50 million on the Argos. I have no idea. Don't understand it. don't think the market's here. And in the 5 or 6 years that they've had the Argos, and this is no disrespect to the team, to the players, to the employees, to anybody that works there, they haven't made inroads with fans.
It's not what it was when we were kids.
Certainly not.
It was a big ticket.
Oh, it's huge.
It was a big ticket. It's not that anymore.
Wayne Gretzky used to own the Argos, man. It was a big deal.
Did he really?
Yeah, with John Candy.
What the
Yeah.
Why didn't I know that?
Yeah, it's crazy. So all that is to say this. I think what's happening here is we're seeing we've seen a deadlock break. If you're wondering why at the executive level, why the Raptors didn't sell when they should have, why the Leafs haven't made the changes they've needed to, it's because there's been a deadlock at the executive level for 5 years. And it's been getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. Today that changes. Now, if you look at the Blue Jays and you go, oh shit, they suck. That's not Ed Rogers' fault necessarily. It is because he employs the people that make the team. But Ed Rogers puts $250 million. Hold on. He puts $250 million on their payroll every year.
How do they spend it? Good?
Yeah.
They don't spend it good.
No, if Ed Rogers is the one who's keeping Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins employed, I'm blaming it.
Okay, and I get that. There is that thing. But to say that he's not invested in the team.
No.
That's what Leaf fans and Raptors fans are worried about. We had owners that were not invested in the teams. Mm-hmm. We've had that. At very least, you know that this guy's a fan. He's a huge sports fan.
That's what you want out of your sports team, is an owner who's willing to spend the money.
Yes.
Which is fun.
Willing to spend the money, yes. Mm-hmm. Good. On all counts. But
we'd like to see some results.
Hire the right guys to spend your money.
I agree with that.
All we know about this guy is he wanted to fire the one major executive who brought this city a championship.
Mm-hmm. You got to talk about Mike a little.
Oh, sorry. He wanted to fire Masai Ujiri or not extend him or whatever.
But he's also the guy.
What are his sports?
He's also the guy that gave Alex Anthopoulos a chance as a GM.
Is that?
Yes.
Is he the reason that AA is not here anymore?
I think Rick Brace is more to do with that. I'm not sure. There was some sort of thing there. It's weird. That exit, not enough has been reported on that, but there was some media involvement. I don't know enough about that exit. I don't think it was Ed. But I think it was, again, the people he hired. And that is a problem. So, listen, all I'm saying to you is, anybody that's out there today going, this is a terrible day for sports in this country, it's not. We don't know what it's going to be. Yeah, what I do know is we have an engaged owner. We have an engaged owner. I'm good with engaged owner. The issue is, does this owner hire the right people to run the games?
I don't like the idea of a monopoly over the sports in my city.
I agree.
So that's why I'm not the biggest fan of.
Well, also one person's engaged is another person's meddling.
Yeah, from what the Blue Jays reporters have said, they actually are pretty hands off. Mm-hmm. I think that's why Shapiro's still there. Yeah. And by the way, Shapiro's a very good businessman. Yeah. That's why they want him running the Blue Jays. And Shapiro, apparently Atkins is his guy.
Yeah, no, the Rogers Center looks great because of Mark Shapiro. And the Rogers Center renovations and everything around the team is fantastic. Blue Jays are great marketers. Like, everything top down, the organization's fantastic. The play on the field fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And that's
because they have an incompetent GM.
Ross Atkins is awful at his job and has been for a decade.
I turn on a Blue Jays game, and the way they've been playing, I expect the stands to look the way they did in like 2012. And it's packed. Like, they were good for a few years there, and the fan bump was massive, and it never really died off.
Well, they're a hot ticket. It's a fun experience.
People still love Blue Jays.
They're a hot ticket. Yeah, but like, people didn't go for years.
Well, that was because of the strike and all the other shit.
We're getting away a little from what I just wanted to ask you about, because like the monopoly scares me. I don't like the idea. One guy, we could end up if he breaks it all off and he's just the one guy who owns we have 3 major pro sports teams in this city.
Yep.
One guy owning them makes me feel a little queasy.
I agree. And I am anti-monopoly. I'm also anti-oligopoly. I don't think, which is what we have in so many industries in Canada, like there should be a market share limit in a country this size. You can't have people having 90% shares of stuff. It's not good for business. A true capitalistic democracy has healthy competition, and we don't have them. And the reason that these guys are able to get away with this is their business model is not built to be competitive. Like when we do a business plan, our business plan is how can we be competitive in the space that we're in? When Rogers and Bell and these more mega corporations do a business plan, it's how do we best lobby the government for laws that are favorable to us? That is where the majority of their stuff goes. And so, yes, Jesse, I completely 100% agree. The other side of that is Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment has been completely ineffectual for the last 3 to 4 years at the executive level. At very least, we'll see some movement. Because what kept happening was, hey, what about this? No, I don't feel like it. Well, now we're going to have some decisions, and they might be disastrous, but at least something will happen. And here's the thing: keep an open mind. Maybe they'll be good.
Is that a good thing?
Well, and I think the Leafs specifically, because the Raptors are rebuilding, the Toronto Maple Leafs are the number one priority of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment today. Keep the Leafs good.
It's not the
just
Raps?
good, great.
The Raps are worth more.
Doesn't matter. The Raps are rebuilding. They're not getting gate, and it's a priority to get them past the first round. Believe it or not, people at the executive level do care over there. They do.
Oh, I believe
it pisses
that
them
they
off.
care. I believe it.
They're not happy with the results. Like
What have they done about it?
Well, this is the deadlock part.
Don't get them worked out.
This is the deadlock part.
I don't give a shit that they're mad. So am I.
Well,
You're the only one who can do something about it, asshole.
I can't.
No, not you.
Yeah, the deadlock. I know I'm sorry. The deadlock has been part of the problem, right? You keep saying how can they not make a change after this? Because if somebody's good with Larry, then they're good. That's no longer the case.
So, it's like, are you saying Shanahan's?
I'm saying Shanahan's. I think Masai. I think Shanny. All of them will be under a microscope this
Because
year.
what you described with Mark Shapiro is baseball Shanahan.
Yeah.
He's a well-liked businessman who can't field a winning team.
Correct. Correct. But that is not why, my belief is that is not why they haven't moved on from Shanny. I think the Blue Jays and the Maple Leaf situation is very different.
Okay.
I think that there was, and it doesn't mean that Shanny's going to go, and it doesn't mean that Ed doesn't like Shanny. I don't know. But what I can say is when those discussions occurred, and they did happen, I know that to be certain. When those discussions occurred, there was a lock. There was we can't come to a decision that we all agree with. So because nobody's a majority 50% or 51% shareholder here, our only option is to continue on the way we're going.
So let me pause you there because you said something earlier and you just said it again. So it wasn't a Bell versus Rogers thing.
No.
It was a Rogers versus Larry thing.
Yes.
But based on what you're telling me is Bell would take Larry's side every time.
Not every time. No. But Larry, because Bell were more of a passive owner in this team, they were not as active, and they didn't like the one thing you could say about Tony Staffieri and Ed Rogers is they care about the product on the field. They do they legitimately are like, whereas I don't think Mirko Bibic is living and dying by Mirko Bibic, BCE CEO. I don't think he's living and dying by these teams. I think he's living and dying by his quarterlies. And because he's I don't even know what he's a fan of. It doesn't really matter, but he's not the owner. Right. And that's the key. Mirko runs a corporation that is a corporation for corporation's sake. Rogers is still a family corporation. There is a family that controls it. With one guy now who's ahead of it all. Yeah. He has power brokered his way to the top. Yeah.
But because how did he get it from his family? Did he ask nice?
Through court. And it's an ugly situation. And his mom didn't want to see him when she was passing. That's in the Rogers versus Rogers book.
Jesus.
Like, it's ugly, guys. It's ugly, ugly, ugly.
It's like Succession.
Yeah. Well, I think might even be worse. I read that Rogers versus Rogers book. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy what's in there.
If you're looking into all the Rogers stuff,
yeah,
that happened, I think it was around Christmas 2022. Someone had gotten, I think it was Ed, as a gift, a cameo from what's the name of the actor who played
the Scottish guy? Yeah.
The lead on
Logan Roy.
Logan, yeah, the character Logan Roy.
Yeah, I didn't know the actor.
They got him a cameo after they ousted Joe Natale who I think was the previous CEO, and he goes, "Congratulations on getting Joe Natale to fuck the fuck off."
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Cox.
Yeah, Brian Cox. There
Thank
you go.
you. Thank you. You can still find the video.
So all that is to say we are in a different era. I can't tell you whether it's a good or a bad era because nobody can. But I can tell you that we're out of the deadlocked era. So that change that you're asking for in one way or another is going to happen.
So it's more likely to happen now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I know that was a lot of words, but that is what's been going on at the executive level. And that stuff matters. It plays out on the field.
Well, Adam, I know it's a lot of words, but it's, a lot of the feedback I saw today was, well, I don't like my phone bill, so fuck this.
And well, that's not...
Which I understand,
Yeah.
but also it's not incredibly nuanced.
Lower my phone bill.
They're not going to. It's crazy.
And
I don't know if those two things are related.
man, I recently, my wife and I friggin', it's like we forgot I don't work at Rogers anymore, because our bill started to go up and up and up and up and up. And I was like, okay, do we use this anymore? No. Okay, this was a thing I got for free that I don't anymore. Okay, gone. What about this? What about this? What about, we shaved off like $200 a month.
What were you paying?
Don't ask.
Way too much.
Too fucking much.
Gratefully, it's all
Way
right
too
off.
much. More than our Rogers bill every month was more than what either of us pay for our car.
Jesus.
What?
It's not anymore.
How is that possible?
It's not anymore.
That's insane.
Well, when you work for them and you get all of it for free, and then you
If
take
you're
it
watching
for
this,
granted.
if you're watching this, asking yourself, how shitty are Steve's cars?
No.
Yeah.
You actually have a very nice car.
My phone bill is like $50.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
So we get to Capit-ale?
We are, but I want to get to Bruins camp first.
Damn it.
Sorry, we can't get to Capit-ale until we get to Bruins camp.
Is that
Now-
a Friday thing? I don't know if we have time for Capit-ale.
No, we're getting into it. We're getting
Are
into
you
it.
kidding?
So, Don Sweeney,
What time is it?
while we were having this conversation, had one of the craziest press conferences to open a season that you could have. And it has to do with Jeremy Swayman. And I'm just going to read a quick tweet before you play this clip, Jesse.
Okay.
He called the Spittin' Chicklets podcast the Spittin' Up on Yourself podcast.
No way.
And said that the reports from them were bullshit.
What a dad.
And that he wasn't, it had to do with Swayman and the contract. And I think Ryan Whitney had some sort of take on it or whatever.
He had a contract number. I saw it a couple
It was
weeks
10 million,
ago.
wasn't it, or something like that?
It was a lot.
I don't
can't
know.
remember.
So regardless, Don said, "I'm pissed that he's not here." And this is a question from Ty Anderson, who he's a great reporter, works at 98.5 Sports Hub in Boston. And
You know his reporting?
yeah, I know who's reporting this. I know who's
familiar.
asking this question.
I'm familiar.
Yeah,
I follow him. And anyway, have a look at this because this is Don Sweeney at Don Sweeney's maximum anger.
What specifically inaccuracies are
Go ahead and ask me specific. You got knowledge of it, like, do we haven't offered an 8-year deal, or we haven't, we're not willing to compromise, or we haven't moved on things, like, at the end of the day, I'm not talking about specifics. You're just not gonna get it. But, the fact, I did reference one, as a matter of fact. I think it's bullshit that somebody says, I wouldn't return a call for 3 weeks. There, that's inaccurate. Was it written? Was it said? Was it written?
that one I'm not sure of.
Well, I will tell you, I don't listen to podcasts. I said my son loves biz. Thinks he's fabulous. I think he's a great entertainer. Okay, but at the end of the day, they're inaccurate, and that's okay because that's all part of the business nowadays. It's okay if you turn around and say it's your opinion or your belief and such, but don't report it as fact. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Johnny, it seems pretty obvious now, but just to clear it up too, there was a report out there this morning that it was a done deal with Swim. That's obviously not true, not correct.
It's 100% inaccurate.
Thanks, John.
Does that make it any more pointed than that? Very appreciate it. All right.
I like Don Sweeney a lot.
That was fun.
So, wow. If I remember the report, it did involve Swayman hadn't been contacted for a while. If I remember the video that I saw, it involved him not being contacted for a while. And I could see how that would upset Sweeney. If I remember the report correct, maybe we should probably find it. It was they're far apart. And not only are they far apart, but they're not talking. And it was framed as on the Bruins end. They're not talking. I could see how that would piss him off.
Yep. I can
Right?
see that.
It's one thing, a player demands a trade or, it's people understand the negotiation process. I think the majority of people understand a player is going to want more, a team is going to want them to take less, and they meet somewhere in the middle. And I think people understand collaboration. But when one party is refusing to speak to another, that's when people get pissed off, and that's when there's a good guy and a bad guy. The player already has the upper hand, generally speaking, as the good guy if they're a popular, good player. Jeremy Swayman is a popular, good player.
I can't imagine why.
Exactly.
Here's
Beat
what-
the Leafs in the playoffs. No one's ever done that.
Here's what Paul Bissonnette and Ryan Whitney said. Biz started with, I'm actually pissed off at the fact these two parties can't work it out. This is bullshit. Why are they ignoring Sway's calls? Enough with this drama. 8 by 8.65 and hug it out. Figure it out at NHL Bruins. So he had tweeted that. And then Ryan Whitney on the pod, I believe, had said, apparently the Bruins have not contacted or returned Swayman calls in 3 weeks. And if their offer is 4 years by 6.2 after you traded your other stud goalie, that's the funniest things I've ever heard, said Ryan Whitney.
Yeah, so the offer,
there you
I
go.
remember being like, oh, so that's dog shit. Like, if Swayman's allegedly asking for 10, well, 6.2 is not close.
Yeah. Right. So you got the two reports there. One is that they haven't returned his calls in 3 weeks, and then the other one's that they've offered him $6 million. And then that's what Sweeney's replying to.
When Biz said 8 times 8.65 or whatever it was, I think that was him spitballing, but or spitting up on himself.
Spit pollen.
Yeah, whoa. But they're not returning his calls. Like, that's an accusation.
Yeah. I wonder if that was just more like a figure of speech. I would have a hard time
returning his
believing
No,
it.
because that's what Ryan Whitney backed it up.
He
They
actually,
both said
That's what I just read. Yeah, he says apparently the Bruins have not contacted or returned Swayman's calls in 3 weeks. I don't. Think
I have
anything out there.
I have a hard time believing that they would make that up. Right? I really do. I think that came from somewhere. And
Major League
and listen, maybe the only reason that Don Sweeney's pissed about it is it doesn't make him look good.
It makes him look
Bruins
pretty
fans
bad.
would be like, "What the fuck, man? That's you traded Olmark. We only have this guy." Unless
When you put it that way,
we got is it Forsberg or no or Merzlikins.
no, Corpusalo.
Korpisalo. That's what
Korpisalo.
it is. One of the other Columbus goalies.
Yeah,
Korpisalo. Yeah.
It's funny. I was when that trade happened, I was talking about Corpusalo, like, he could return to form and he might be okay. But then the idea I saw was posted like, well, they have Brandon Busey in the minors, and he could theoretically push Corpusalo out, and then that guy's on waivers. It could be a very interesting
Ask
Bruins camp, man.
Sens fans how they feel about
Nah, Korpisalo is going to be good. He had one bad year, and that was his year in Ottawa. His run with the Kings was great. His run with Columbus was great.
What was it? 5 times 5 from the Sens?
Yeah.
Like, there's another one where I'm like, okay, he didn't live up to it, but he was worth. How do you justify he was worth $25 million and now he's worth get him out of here?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
It's going to be fascinating.
Retained? Didn't they retain to get him out?
I
can't
believe
remember.
so. Yeah, because they took Allmark, and then they took a little of the money.
Doesn't
But,
seem
yeah.
great.
No.
Seems like you whiffed a little.
Couple of news and notes before we get to Capit-ale because I know Jesse's dying. Leafs' new sponsor is Oreo, helmet sponsor. Nick Foligno is the captain of the Blackhawks this year.
It's awesome.
When was that announced?
Today.
This morning, yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's great. Mike Hoffman has just signed a PTO with the Oilers.
Yeah.
Thomas Harley will be in camp for the Dallas Stars. He signed an extension yesterday, $4 million a year. I think that's a fucking steal. Oh my God.
Yep,
But
well-
his deal on the end of that's going to be bonkers.
That's the trade-off. But
you need to because you're challenging for a cup. I get it.
if you're the Dallas Stars, a bridge deal makes sense.
Dakota Joshua will not be in camp for the Canucks, at least to start, as he had testicular cancer and had to have an operation. So we wish Dakota Joshua the best. I just wanted to make sure we got through those headlines to think, so people don't think that we're just missing things. And lastly, Jesse, turn it over to you.
You also missed one other captain note. Victor Hedman was officially named captain, which I thought was
Like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Well,
thing that
I saw it
happened-
come up and I was like, Well, we know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I left it.
But yeah,
Obviously.
today he's captain, and I don't know. I think Nick Foligno being captain in Chicago is pretty cool.
He's got so many things to teach Bedard, but not enough time to do it.
What?
You remember that clip from the bench
Yeah.
last year? He's got so much to teach.
It's like I got so much to teach you and not enough time left in the league,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, yeah. Also, I guess I'll say this. Tyler Toffoli was photographed today wearing an A with San Jose. San Jose.
hey.
You get it?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Good for him. Anyway, should we, Jesse, finally get to Capit-ale?
Yeah, let me bring it up.
Maddie's so excited.
Jesse's so excited. They're all they're excited.
The fans
Are you guys not excited?
the sponsors are
They're excited.
You need to have been listening to the show for so long to even get that reference. And I'm not going to bother explaining.
I think that was sort of in the era where still stuff like that still went under the radar, because that interview should have exploded.
With Eugene Melnick and Mark Borietti.
It did.
Yeah,
No,
but like
I went
exploded
pretty-
in a bigger way today.
No, it did. I brought that up because it was the lead on Tim and Sid. Like we did a whole thing that day, and that's national television.
That was your Tim and Sid era.
Yeah.
No, Jesse's
no, that
Tim
was
and Sid
big. I think you're misremembering that.
I just feel
big
like
story.
Raj.
Yeah, you're right. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, okay. This tweet is from Greg Wyshynski. He says, in celebration of their 50th anniversary in the NHL, the Capitals and Devils Backbone Brewing Company have created a special beer called Capit-ale.
Hell yeah!
It's a golden IPA, 6% alcohol, and here
Yes.
it is.
What a missed opportunity to make it 8% for Ovi.
Capit-ale.
We got to get down to Washington this year. I know Steve's promoting a book, and that was the last time he was there anyway. But we have got, first off, it's fun to see a Caps game. We got to try this. We got to do a taste test.
Yeah.
Capit-ale.
I need Capit.
I want Capit-ale in my life. I will try this IPA called Capit-ale.
I wonder if we could buy it and get it like shipped to Canada. Can you do that? Can you ship alcohol over the border like that?
I don't know. That is I have no idea.
What
I
if-
must be able to.
What if we pick it up in Washington and drink it?
So Jesse, you can ship alcohol across the border, but you have to pay tax on it.
Okay.
And shocker, Canadian tax is higher than the American tax on alcohol, unless you buy it from duty free, in which But I don't
Right.
think we'd be getting that. From
Dude,
But
years,
we can pay the tax on this 4-pack of beer.
hell yeah.
years
can't imagine
ago,
it's much.
years ago, I talked about this beer from Newfoundland. I think it was called 1892, and how I loved it, and you can't get it here. And someone traveled to the CBC building when I was still working there from Newfoundland, and they brought me a.
Really?
Wow.
It was awesome, and I drank it at work.
That's awesome.
No.
I appreciate a good name. And
Capit-ale.
if you were ever going to name a Washington Capitals beer, it needed to be named Capit-ale. So I just need all the kudos in the world to whatever marketing person was like, let's just do it. Let's name it Capit-ale. It's fantastic stuff. The can is sick. Matt, if you want to pull us off, you can see the full can. I love the lines on it. You got the logo on it.
looks
It's a
great.
golden IPA. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. Looks great.
Shout out Capit-ale.
Capit-ale. Exquisite work from the fine folks at Capit-ale.
Are we doing a press conference or are we wrapping?
Let me ask a question.
All right.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I'm doing nerve flossing. Well,
Our live show in St. Catharines this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
On Saturday, you'll be shocked.
guys, just show up. Bring a tent.
Urin.
Yeah, St. Catherine.
Why?
This is from 10 Lenny on our Discord server. Go to sdpn.ca, join us on Discord, or it's in the description of this podcast. According to each, Adam, Steve, and Jesse, what is Steve's greatest rant?
You want my opinion on what my greatest rant is?
Yeah, all of us get to pick one.
That's a good question.
Oh. I thought I did pretty well in the post like on the podcast then. Or just ever.
I think ever.
I think I did pretty well after they got eliminated by Boston this year on this podcast. I thought that was pretty good. I think a lot of people would probably say the David Ayres game, or the 9-2 Nashville game from 2014. But my personal favorite, where I was like, I can't top this. Like I'll chase this forever, but like it's Game 7 against Montreal. Like I'll just unless they.
That's a good one.
How the hell do they ever repeat that sort of thing?
Go up 3-0.
But also, like the Nashville 9-2 video, that video is less than 3 minutes long. Mm-hmm. The David Ayres video, that video I think is less than 10 minutes long. It's less than 8 minutes long or whatever it is. The Game 7 loss to Montreal is half an hour, 25 of which has no cuts.
You buried them.
I was dripping sweat. Like I needed a shower after that video. I at some point I slicked my hair back in the video and it looked like I'd been running in the rain. Like I'm a drummer on stage. To me that's the greatest off the dome rant I've ever done. I don't think I'll never be able to repeat that kind of rant.
Because you can't get the same circumstances. You can't,
I hope not.
You can't
But
get
with the Leafs, you
team-
might.
Well, like the team won the division.
Yeah.
It was a clear shot right to the Stanley Cup final.
Not just won the division, but the individual performances they got out of certain players. It's like, you can't blow that. You got 3 goals out of a geriatric Jason Spezza. You got a power play goal out of Joe Thornton. Alex Kerfoot had 6 points in 7 fucking games.
You lost your captain in game 1. You still went up 3-1 in the series.
You went up 3-1.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell out-dueled Carey Price.
Yep.
Think everyone from that Habs run is going to remember how good he was in rounds 2, 3, and 4. Round 1, he stunk. He was not good. And then he decided, oh, actually, I'm God in overtime of game 6. He blew a 3-0 lead in game 5. No one remembers. He blew a 2-0 lead late in game 6. No one
They
remembers.
won, yeah.
And overtime of game 6 begins, and he's like, oh, you can't beat me, actually. You can't beat me. They didn't beat him that entire overtime, and they didn't beat him until about 90 seconds left in the game when Nylander ruined a shutout bid in game 7.
Yeah,
Fuck!
The circumstances of that collapse and everything that... Also, you were sitting at home.
Yeah.
You were sitting at home for months. And a year and change at that time.
Yeah.
We were all inside. And just for all of that to build up to that moment where they collapse like that. Yeah, it's not repeatable.
And before the series began, like I remember like my series preview, I was saying things like, all right, yes, it's the Leafs. Mm-hmm. If this were not the Toronto Maple Leafs, there would be no reason, there would be no justification for thinking they should lose this series. None. They lose game 1, and you're like, well,
Look what happened.
Tavares.
Yeah.
It was a very tight game. Price made an incredible save in the 3rd period. It was an incredible goal from Paul Byron. Game 2, you, I think, kill them. It was games 2 or 3 the Leafs killed
You
them.
win 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Spezza like saves the series because they go down 1-0 in game 2. Then he scores immediately after and they shell them. I think is how it went. Yeah, they won 2, 3, 4. Like you got a good performance out of Sandin. You got good performances out of so many guys. That Matthews and Marner were nowhere to be found. Either of them. And it does bear mentioning both. Fuck.
Deneau. That's Phil Deneau, by the way.
Dude, there's no
Okay. Jesse, give us yours.
that one.
No, we can stick with that. That's fantastic.
I think
Adam,
your-
do you have stuff to throw?
I thought your Ayres was pretty good.
Yeah,
It was pretty good.
The errors in Nashville, but that's got to be peak.
That's maybe the most scared I think I've been before a video.
Ayers?
Airs.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay. It has the most views I've ever gotten by 500,000. And I've probably had less than half a dozen videos ever hit 500,000 between every YouTube channel I've ever been on. And I'm like, They lost to an employee. It's still like, okay, he played junior B. Dude, he was 42 with shitty knees.
And weren't they up?
If you're wondering if I
Were they
wrote
not
about
up in
this in
that
my
game?
book, yes, I did.
They were up in that game, were they not? They were like dominating Carolina, were they not?
I want to say they were up.
I think so.
They might have been up 1-0.
Okay.
I can't remember. They did at some point. They brought the game to within one. They scored the first 2 shots they had, and then just didn't try. Oh my fuck. Oh my. No, but I was sitting there in front of the camera, like I know roughly what audience I'm talking to every video. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to LFR fans, and then some videos you're like, okay, I'm talking to Leafs fans, and then some videos I'm like, oh, I'm talking to everyone who likes hockey. And they lost that game. I'm like, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to this is the most interesting thing that's going to happen in sports for at least this month. And I was right. Until March 11th, it was the most interesting thing that happened in sports. And then they canceled the NBA, and the next day they canceled the NHL.
The Leafs were up 1-0. Kerfoot had scored at 19:24 of the first period to get the lead for the Leafs, and then the Hurricanes scored 4 unanswered goals in the second period, and they're up 4-1, and then all hell broke loose at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was sitting in front of the camera like, oh shit, this is going viral. No matter what I do. So it better be good. It might as well be good. Like I don't even remember the things I said beyond they lost to a 42-year-old.
Because it's not just like the biggest hockey story, the biggest Leafs story, the biggest sports story. It's the biggest news story happening right at this moment in North America. Yeah.
There's a lot of attention. I didn't even title it LFR because I was like, most people who watch this video will not know what an LFR is. I think I went back and changed it to keep the names consistent.
But for the SEO for the moment, keep that out of the title.
I was like, the majority of people watching this will have no idea.
Yeah.
What LFR is, who I am, nothing.
The first star of the game, 8 saves, 800 save percentage, David Ayres. That's got to be the worst save percentage for a first star of the game ever.
Well, no, the 80s happened.
No, that's true.
It's possible, but yeah, dude, 800.
26 shots on goal the Leafs had.
And they had I wrote about this in the book. I won't spoil it, but like they come out of the first period. Like forget the 1-0 lead. They took the 1-0 lead into the second.
Yeah.
And they played poorly in the first. So it's like, all right, we played poorly and we got out of it. Like bandits. Here we go, and then, well, the rest of the game happens.
David Ayres, he played the full third, right?
He played like half the game.
Yeah, like it wasn't because the 2 goals that Tavares and Engvall score in the second period here, those are both on Ayres.
Yes. Which made him, the Engvall goal made him the goalie of record.
Yeah.
There's a world where he just holds the fort, but the story is different because he didn't win the game. What made it such a phenomenon and what made him go on Stephen Colbert is the dude was credited with a win. He won an NHL game. You know how many goalies have played in the NHL and never ended up winning a game? Don Beaupre was the backup goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs, one entire season, never won a game with them. This guy won. He won an NHL game.
Tyson Barrie got his 30th assist that night.
Shut up.
That's a lot of assists.
Shut up.
Oh man, we had Pierre Engvall, Tyson Barrie, and Kasperi Kapanen on the ice at the same time.
Yeah, for an even strength goal.
Jeez.
The fact that
we need to do a deep dive on the Dubas here.
Check out that
really weak lines, man.
Check out that awesome start to the third period, boys.
Yeah.
You fucking stink.
Vogel, Natchez. The fact that they didn't pepper a million shots from center ice onto David Ayres is always going to be inexcusable for this. Everybody who's on the ice there.
They had 8 shots on him, 6.
Yeah, no, he had 8. Yeah, the 8 saves made him first star.
You
8
suck.
8 saves. So they had
suck.
10 shots total because 2 went in. 10 shots through a period and a half on your own employee.
You suck. I can't. I'm gonna blow the whole thing. There's a chapter in there where I wrote about the four most devastating losses in Leafs history. And you'll be shocked to know that that's one of them.
I love it.
Some might surprise you, though.
We'll be back Friday.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.